This video is going to talk about the transfer process for social work majors coming to Missouri State University. I'm Professor Natalie Curry. I'm the coordinator of the BSW program here at Missouri State. You can see my email address and my phone number here on the screen if you want to take a screenshot. I'd love to hear from you. I'll tell you a little bit about our programs here at Missouri State. We are fully accredited through the Council on Social Work Education. We have both a BSW program and an MSW program. Our Bachelor of Social Work program is offered seated or online, and I'll talk more detail about that in just a moment. And our MSW program is offered fully online. So as I just said, the BSW program has options available for students. During the admissions process to the BSW program, students will choose between two options. The first is our traditional seated program. Classes are in Springfield on our main campus, Monday to Thursday between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. If you're in the seated option, you can still take your electives and other major requirements online if you choose, but your core BSW classes will be seated. The new option that we have available is our fully online program. These are asynchronous classes, which mean there are no required class meetings. You can take your electives or other major requirements seated if you'd like to have some on-campus classes, or you can do those online as well. You must be enrolled in only one option. You can't mix and match your core BSW classes. As I said, you can mix and match your electives or other major requirements, but students are admitted to the BSW program in either the seated or the online option. At Missouri State, social work is what's known as a comprehensive major. That means you're not required to have a minor. In our curriculum, there are 48 hours of required social work courses, an additional 22 hours of required courses that come from the humanities and the social, behavioral, and biological sciences. Now, some of those hours might be satisfied by your associate's degree, and as you go through the transfer process, an admissions process at Missouri State, you'll see what credit you receive for the classes you've taken at your community college. We also have 6 hours of social work electives, and in the final semester, a 400-hour practicum, which is also known as an internship, and we'll talk more about that in a few moments as well. So I want to talk about the actual admissions process to the BSW program, because it is separate from admissions to Missouri State. Students can apply to the BSW program in a spring semester once you have 45 hours completed. So that means at the end of a fall semester, you have to be done with 45 hours to be eligible to apply in the spring. You must have a combined GPA of 2.5 or above. Combined means transfer and Missouri State. So anywhere that you've taken any credit hours will count in your combined GPA. And then the courses that you have to have taken as prerequisites for admission are listed here. You must have completed or be concurrently enrolled in GEP 101, although that's often waived for transfer students. At Missouri State, the course is English 110. The Core 42 motor number is English 100. At Missouri State, the oral communication requirement is COM 115. But you can see also the motor number there of COM 110. And if your community college offers other oral communication courses that satisfy your Core 42, that's just fine as well. And then Math 130, that contemporary mathematics course to satisfy your quantitative literacy requirement. The motor course number is Math 120 or above. So if you've taken college algebra or you've taken another math course that has a course number above 120 as your motor number, that'll be just fine. And then the social work courses that are required are listed on the screen as well. Social Work 200 is Introduction to Social Work. Social Work 213 is Social Welfare Policy and Services. And then Social Work 219 is Human Diversity. And those courses must have a C or better. Now, some community colleges offer all three of these courses. Some offer one or two, and some offer none. But they do have to be taken for you to be eligible to the program. And so if you're attending a community college that does not offer these social work classes, reach out to me and let's talk about if there's a way for you to take those classes online at Missouri State while you're completing your AA degree. Whenever you reach 45 hours and those prerequisites, you can apply to the BSW program in a spring semester. We only do spring admissions. This is a really important thing to remember for transfer students, because if you're planning to transfer to Missouri State in the fall, after you complete your AA in a spring or a summer semester, that means you need to actually apply to the BSW program the semester before you're going to transfer. So we only do admissions in the spring. And so we don't want you to lose a year in that process if you're hoping to transfer right to Missouri State and get started. So we only do spring admissions. Transfer students should apply to Missouri State in the fall semester before you apply to the BSW program. And we're going to look at a timeline here in a few minutes that will hopefully help these timeframes make sense. The application to the BSW program is always going to be available on our website. The link is here. Again, you can screenshot that so that you can access that application. The due dates and everything will be available. In general, the application becomes available no later than November 1st, sometimes even earlier than that. Applications are always due the first Monday in February, and they must be completed and turned in by the deadline to be eligible for admission. So it's important for students to understand that we do have a competitive admissions process. Meeting the minimum requirements is not a guarantee that you'll be admitted. Applying to Missouri State and choosing social work as your major is not a guarantee that you'll be admitted, but we do try hard to accommodate as many students as we can, and ideally all the students that apply. We've been lucky in recent years that we have been able to do that. And with our online option, we are very excited about expanding our cohort sizes to students outside the Springfield area. We want to make sure that we are as accessible as possible to students. But if we had, hundreds and hundreds of students apply, we would not be able to accept all of them. So it is important to take your application seriously and make sure that you're a good candidate. Our admissions committee makes a decision based on a holistic picture of your coursework and values that are consistent with the Code of Ethics. And so that is a requirement when you apply, that you have read the Code of Ethics and you're able to say that you affirm those values and that it's something that is a good fit for you. So Missouri State has what's known as 2+2 transfer plans established with several community colleges. And so that website is here. You can always access that if you want to look and see if your community college already has a transfer plan. But we also want to make sure we love to work with all transfer students. So if you're transferring from a university that doesn't have an established 2+2 plan, that's no problem. Just reach out to me, say, hey, Professor Curry, I plan to transfer in the fall semester. What do I need to do to make sure I'm ready? We would love to work with you. We just have those plans always accessible on the website so that if you are at one of those community colleges, you can figure out kind of what you need to take and when, who should I talk to, at my college in terms of my transfer advisor. All those things are going to be really important for you in this process. And I mentioned earlier that students are required to do a practicum. We like to talk about it now because transfer students often have questions about what's that going to look like. So all accredited BSW programs require practicum internships. And those are things you do actually in an agency where you are putting your social work skills into practice with real clients. It happens in the final semester of the program. So it's in the final spring semester before you graduate. And it's a 9-credit course. So you're not taking a 9-credit course on campus, you're taking your course actually in an agency as you perform your internship hours. So it does work out to be around 25 to 28 hours per week. You must have reliable transportation by that point in the program, and you must have flexibility with your schedule. We will work hard to find a practicum location that is convenient for you. But we're not able to guarantee a specific location, nor are we able to guarantee that those internships will be paid. Sometimes that happens and that's exciting, but it's not always the case. And so we want students to be aware of that, even before you transfer to Missouri State, that this is a requirement of our program that you need to be prepared for. In that final semester, while you're completing your internship, there's also a 3-credit course that you will complete which is a seminar that allows you to kind of process your practicum experiences. So once you're in the BSW program, we do have some expectations of how do you stay in the program to successfully graduate. And the first is that your cumulative GPA has to stay at a 2.5 or above. That's a non-negotiable requirement. You must make a C or better in all of your social work classes. You must pass practicum, which is social work 490. Demonstrate acceptable levels of maturity, integrity, behaviors, and attitudes as defined by the Code of Ethics. So again, Code of Ethics is a really important document for us that provides a foundation for our program. Missouri State requires 120 credit hours to graduate. So our program, if you follow the degree plan, will get you right to that 120 hours. We want to make sure that you're paying attention to that so you know how many elective hours or other courses you need to take. Now, while I am the bachelor's program coordinator, we do want our students to be thinking about graduate school potentially as an option for you in the future. It's not a requirement. A wonderful thing about a BSW degree is that you're considered a helping professional. You do not have to get an MSW to be able to work as a social worker and support yourself. You can absolutely do that at the bachelor's level. But many of our students do have aspirations of graduate school in the future, and so I'd like to talk about that just a little bit. With a BSW degree from an accredited program like Missouri State, you would be considered advanced standing for graduate school, which means you could get your MSW in 1 year full-time or 2 years part-time, which is essentially half the credit hours that are required if you try to get an MSW without a BSW. So it's a huge advantage for you in terms of time and money. Missouri State currently requires a 3.0 GPA for admission to the MSW program and no more than 1 C in a social work course from your BSW classes. So while you can successfully complete the BSW program with a 2.5 GPA and multiple Cs, we like to encourage students to really try hard to get to that 3.0 and no more than 1 C so that you give yourself the option for graduate school in the future. So once you're accepted to Missouri State, transfer students often want to know, what do I do next? What are my first steps to take? So when you apply to Missouri State, you want to declare your major as social work. You'll have options to choose between the seated and the online program at that time. And that's fine. You can choose the option that you are most likely to pursue, but doing that does not guarantee you a spot. That only happens in the actual BSW application process. So either one is fine when you apply to Missouri State. You'll want to attend a BSW program informational meeting. We hold 2 meetings per month, one by Zoom to help accommodate students who are not in the Springfield area, or in person on our Springfield campus. The website listed on the screen has the schedule for all of our informational meetings. So again, you can screenshot that or just navigate to that from our website so that you can see the information on how to join by Zoom and the location for the in-person meetings. After your major is declared and you attend an informational meeting, you'll be assigned an advisor in the McQuarrie College of Health and Human Services Student Success and Advisement Center. Long title, but that's our college advising center, and all of our pre-social work majors, which is what you're referred to until you get admitted to the BSW program, have an advisor in that office. After you meet with that advisor, you'll get released and be able to register for the upcoming semester. So once you're at Missouri State in a social work major, we would love for you to get involved in our department. And we have lots of different ways that we do that. We'll have pre-major gatherings, which means all the students who are social work majors but aren't accepted to the program yet will have an opportunity to come to campus and hang out and kind of get to know each other, meet some of the faculty. Every semester we have a transfer student welcome event. We want to specifically welcome those students who have chosen to come to Missouri State as transfer students, answer any specific questions you have, and help you get connected to our department and to other students. We have what's known as a cohort model. Once you're accepted to the program, you'll be in a cohort, which means you'll take all your classes with the same students, and that really helps you get to know people and develop those deeper relationships. We also have a social work club. They plan activities and they have events that students can join. In our BSW program, we have a peer group program, which allows students to have a peer group and get to know each other, have events together, and kind of provide more informal support for each other. And then we also have a Facebook page we'd love for you to follow too if you're on Facebook. It is a public page, so you don't have to be on Facebook to look for it, but you'll want to just search for Missouri State University School of Social Work. We post job information, we post events, we post pictures. It's a great site to follow to learn more about our department. Now, I said earlier that I'd provide a timeline to try to help clarify all the different timeframes for you. So that's what we're going to go through now. So we'll use the example of a student named Natalie. Natalie's a transfer student who wants to start the BSW program in the fall of 2022 because she'll have 45 hours done with all the required courses that were listed before. So step one is to apply to Missouri State University about 1 year before you actually plan to start attending at Missouri State. So if Natalie plans to come in fall of 2022, she needs to apply to Missouri State in the fall of 2021. In the fall of 2021, it's also a great idea to go ahead and attend that BSW program informational meeting. It is an admission requirement to the BSW program, and so you'll be able to check that off when you do your application. In the fall of 2021, the application will become available on our website for the BSW program. So no later than November 1st, you'll be able to find it on our website. In January 2022, we're going to be completing that program application and submit it before the deadline, which is that first Monday in February. Sometime in March 2022, Natalie will be notified of her acceptance for the BSW program, whatever the acceptance status is. So accepted or denied acceptance. And if that was the case, we would provide support and figure out what another major could be. But hopefully we're going to be accepting everybody who's applying. So you'll find out in March so that there's plenty of time to meet with an advisor, make sure you have a plan for registration for the fall. In May 2022, there would be a required program orientation for BSW students to get the big overview of the program, make sure everybody's on track for registration. And then in August 2022, Natalie would begin BSW program classes. And then May 2024, Natalie's going to graduate as a professional social worker with a BSW degree. So again, this is a great slide to screenshot and keep and refer back to. If you're going to be coming to Missouri State in a future year, let's say fall of 2023, you could just change those dates, cross them out, and make them apply to your situation. Now, you can transfer to Missouri State in a spring semester. That is perfectly fine, but you cannot start the BSW program until a fall semester. So wherever you're going to transfer, you want to figure out, okay, if I'm going to have a semester kind of gap, what else can I take in that semester? And your advisor can help you map that out. So that's the end of my presentation today. I again wanted to give an overview for transfer students. You have my contact information there. We are delighted to work with transfer students. We are honored that you would consider Missouri State University in the BSW program. And we want to do anything that we can to help you be successful in your transfer. So, and please reach out to me at any time. Thank you.